Hello, friends, and welcome back to Reverence Gaming. Today we're going to be doing another episode of Know Your Weapon, and we'll be taking a look at the Dirty Harry or the 44 Magnum. Now, I did not want to review this weapon, but somebody asked again and again, and so fine, I'm going to do it. I think the gun is poopy, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, my first round, the game glitched out and I lost my HUD for quite a while. And this was annoying, but it didn't deter me. I continued on and it didn't happen again. Many other annoying things happened, but that did not. And on that note, a piece of what I hope is very good news with DICE doing all that community test environment gobbledygook. Hopefully we'll be looking at a patch that will make a brand new shiny BF4 that works just a little bit better with a little less problems. But moving on from that, because we don't want to go down the rabbit hole of bashing DICE, because then this video would never end. So back on track, let's take a look at the loadout for our 44 Magnum. Now, for maximum sexiness, I decided not to use the green laser sight. Not because I don't like green anymore, because I still think it's like the best color, but decided to go with the tri-beam laser because of where it's located on the gun. I think makes it look cooler. And for the barrel, we use the heavy barrel because, well, it's the heavy barrel. And for the optic, we're using the mini RDS. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Mike, why didn't you use the iron sights? Don't they look best with this gun? Well, they might, but I actually like to hit things occasionally. And so for me, I use the mini RDS. Now for the paint on this weapon, it does not matter because your hand covers up the only thing on this gun that gets painted, which I think it's dumb. But moving on, let's talk about what is bad about this gun, and I'm sure we'll come up with something that is good about this gun. So there are really three main things that I would put in the negative column with this gun. They're pretty significant in terms of this gun being good or bad in comparison to other weapons available in the game, and so let's go over those. Number one would be the trigger delay. When the game first launched, the trigger delay for the 44 Magnum was unbelievably bad. It felt like it took an hour from the time you clicked the button to fire before the gun would actually fire. So you almost had to lead targets, it seemed like, from one end of the map to the other to actually hit them. And as you may have noticed, people don't always necessarily go where you intend them to. Made the gun exceptionally difficult to use except on those oh-so-lovable stationary targets. This is still a bit similar case, but they have greatly reduced that delay, much appreciated, by the way. However, I would still like it to be a lot closer or identical to the BF3 version. I kind of miss that gun. So the drawback there is when you have to lead a target for anything outside of the traditional, okay, they're far away and the muzzle velocity of the gun, so I have to judge how far ahead of my target to aim. Well, now you have another thing in combination with that. You have to take into account the trigger delay. So it's going to take you a little bit more at distance moving targets to hit them accurately. Can be done, just means you're going to be a little bit more skillful player. I understand that, and kudos to you to be very effective with this weapon on moving targets at distances. Good for you. Now, the second thing would be the low rate of fire. You say, well, can't you fire this gun relatively quickly? You can, except not if you want to accurately hit anything, because once you start spamming this gun, it does kick like a mule and you will not be hitting anything. And in terms of how best to use this weapon, I really find that patience, my friend, patience is your best friend with this weapon. You want to take your time, breathe, do some, out with the bad, in with the good type of thing, because you want to remain calm and use this weapon slowly and methodically. That is your key to success there. And the last thing would be the damage. Now, I find this utterly ridiculous and just reprehensible, okay? It takes 3, sometimes 4, even though statistically it should never take 4, sometimes it does, shots to kill somebody, provided none of those are headshots. It does do a decent job of, typically at a lot of ranges, a headshot is lethal and they die. You smile, life is good. But 3 body shots, it's a 44 Magnum. You only get 6 bullets, okay? and you fire them slowly, and you have to take your time in between each shot, meaning that you are at much higher risk to get murdered if you are not hitting people directly in the face, or if, well, they're competent. Okay, that's really going to be a thing. Hopefully you're shooting at people, and if you're not hitting them in the head, hopefully they are totally oblivious to what's going on around them. This will work out very well for you, so hope for that. So those are my 3 things that I find really negative about this weapon. You might not think that that's such a big deal, but keep this in mind. If you miss a shot with the 44 Magnum, not because you're not on target, but because the game doesn't register the hit, that is such a knock against you in comparison to if it's a P226 or something like that, where you get to just spam the bullets really quickly and accurately. And so those guns are more forgiving with the problems in this game. Now, if they do implement some fixes and the netcode improves, I'm going to say that the 44 Magnum is a totally doable gun, totally viable. I still want to see that delay go away and some of these other things maybe get a little bit more improved. But yeah, that would make the gun a whole lot better. But the state of the game just makes this gun suck, in my opinion. And so as not to be totally negative, I will say this. For snipers on roofs, it is quite effective at taking their faces off. I love that about this weapon. With the laser sight on there, especially the tri-beam where it seems a little bit larger, it seems like even if you're moving, as long as you can get that on their body, it will hit them when you're firing. So you can pay pretty good attention to that. Now, the definitely play style with this weapon is not aggressive. It's quite the opposite. You want to be very passive, very behind friendly lines, and you want to use it kind of like a sniper rifle. If you're going to play with this as your primary weapon. If you're not playing with it as your primary weapon, then you want to focus on the entertainment value. Shooting C4, shooting mines, blowing snipers' faces off. Did I mention that? Because that's really the best part, is when you blow a sniper's face off with the 44 Magnum and type in Dirty Harry and then whatever you want to say after that. I don't know. Be creative. Anyway, that's what I have for you. The 44 Magnum, because of the game, it's a poopy. Get rid of the delay, fix the game, great gun. Alright guys, as always, God bless. Now, go shoot somebody in the face.
There's your med kit. Go get it.
Like this.